idea of food, but you're serving Lady Li Hua.
She deserves luxurious meals. I would be embarrassed even showing her this slop.
What in your little head made you think Lady Li Hua would enjoy something like your bland soup?
We know what she prefers to eat.
What a
How dare
pain.
you try to sneak this
If I had a
past us?
choice, I would have never come to the Crystal Pavilion.
Let's go back to the night the Emperor paid a visit to the Jade Pavilion.
Hey guys, welcome back to Anime Sensei Reaction. Last episode gave us another really interesting case involving Mao Mao and the Rear Palace. We saw her investigate the strange rumors surrounding ghosts and eerie events happening among the palace servants, but as always, Mao Mao approached everything logically instead of believing in superstition. One thing I'm loving about this anime is how every mystery hides a realistic explanation connected to medicine, poison, or human emotions. We also got more scenes between Mao Mao and Jinshi, and it's obvious he enjoys watching her reactions, especially since she's one of the few people not completely charmed by his beauty. Meanwhile, the political tension between the different consorts still feels dangerous in the background. In episode 4, I'm expecting Mao Mao to uncover another hidden incident inside the palace, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone starts seeing her as a threat because of how observant she is becoming. Let's continue.
There's no poison. Excuse me, I'll take my leave.
A moment.
That's the first time the Empress addressed me directly.
You're famous, apothecary. I have a request for you.
Famous? I don't like the sound of this. Anything.
Concubine Li Hua is ill, and I would like you to look after her.
I look after her. What he really means is cure her. The word of the Emperor is the word of the heavens. If I declined, it would be grounds for my beheading. Of course. Kind of brazen, mentioning this in front of another concubine. It's not just His Majesty's title. He really is an emperor by nature. That being said, it's incredible the way they're treating me when I'm here on Imperial order. They serve Lady Li Hua, and I'm in service to Lady Gyokyo. So they must think I'm the enemy. If you're done cleaning, go make yourself scarce. Boing, boing. Oh well, guess I'll have to cook it again.
Are you at the Crystal Pavilion now, Mao Mao?
Yeah, I'm looking after Lady Li Hua.
I see. Guess that means she hasn't fully recovered yet.
The poison from the whitening powder must still be in her system.
That awful stuff, huh? Fortunately, from what I heard, it was banned. The eunuchs made sure to locate any still left in the rear palace and confiscate it.
No more pointless deaths. Good.
The atmosphere surrounding the Crystal Pavilion had become heavier with each passing day. Servants whispered in quiet corners, physicians avoided direct answers, and every corridor near the residence carried the suffocating scent of anxiety. Inside those elegant walls, Consort Lahua continued to waste away before everyone's eyes. Her once radiant beauty had faded into a fragile pale shell, and even the palace officials who pretended to remain calm had begun preparing themselves for the worst. The emperor, however, had not yet abandoned hope. Rather than summoning another court physician or ordering more expensive medicine, he called upon Mao Mao. The request itself sounded deceptively simple. He merely asked her to stay beside Lahua for a while and assist with her care. But Mao Mao immediately understood the truth hidden beneath those polite words. This was not a request to observe a dying woman. It was a command to save her. And commands from the throne were not things a servant survived by refusing. So Mao Mao gathered ingredients herself, carefully preparing meals she believed would help cleanse the consort's weakened body. Instead of luxurious delicacies, she chose plain foods designed for recovery rather than pleasure. Everything was deliberate: light porridge, medicinal herbs, ingredients that would reduce strain on digestion while helping toxins leave the body naturally. She knew that Liwa's condition could not be treated with appearances or status in mind. Her body needed simplicity. But the moment Ma Mao entered the crystal pavilion carrying the tray, the hostility waiting inside nearly froze the air around her. The ladies-in-waiting serving Lehua looked at her as though she were filth dragged in from the streets. Before she could even explain herself, one of them knocked the tray from her hands. Bowls shattered across the floor, porridge spilling over polished wood while hot steam rose between them. Another attendant shoved Ma Mao backward with open disgust, mocking the cheapness of the food she had brought. To them, such meals were insulting to a high-ranking consort. Their pride blinded them so completely that none of them understood they were helping kill the woman they claimed to serve.
Can we just take a minute, Mao Mao, and appreciate how awesome you have to be for the Emperor to personally request your assistance with this?
You must really not trust the doctor if he prefers to rely on a girl like me.
You're going to the kitchen later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with the cooking.
Thanks a lot. Right. First, I have to improve Lady Li Hua's diet. There's poison still in her body, and I have to find a way to expel it. The best way is porridge with lots of fiber, along with a diuretic tea. Don't use these, or these either. This, that, and with these, and I want those over there.
Enough is enough. This is our lady's chamber and no place for lowly girls like you.
Boing, boing. This is gonna take a while. In that case, let's try this, those, these.
How many times do I have to tell
And
you?
what's it going to take to make you understand she needs something easy to digest?
Shows how much you know. You realize she's sick? Obviously, the lady needs nutritious food, not peasant food.
So that's her usual meal. There's no denying it's nutritious, but far too heavy for a sick person's weakened stomach. Why is that so hard for them to comprehend? And how come no one stopped them?
Lady Li Hua, your meal is ready. We brought you all the usual things you like. Please, you must try and eat.
She's choking. Oh no, what do we do? Quickly, bring water.
Are you alright, Lady Li Hua?
Please drink this. It'll make you feel better, I promise. Look what you've done to our lady, lowly servant.
Your presence is only upsetting her. Take your leave now.
Boing, boing.
Ma Mao endured the humiliation in silence, though irritation churned beneath her calm expression. At first she assumed the treatment stemmed from her connection to consort Gyokuyu. Rivalries inside the rear palace infected everyone, from noble consorts down to servants scrubbing floors. Petty hatred spread easily in a place where women competed constantly for influence and survival. Still, none of that mattered compared to the emperor's order. The following day she returned. And the day after that. Every attempt ended the same way. Rejection, insults, dismissal. Yet each time she observed more details. The attendants proudly carried elaborate meals into Liwa's chambers. Rich broths heavy with oils, beautifully prepared meats, expensive sweets overflowing with nutrients. The kind of food meant to symbolize wealth and care. To ordinary people, it would have appeared generous. To Ma Mao, it was a disaster. Liwa's digestive system had become too weak to handle such meals. Her body was already struggling against lingering poison, and forcing rich food into her would only exhaust her further. The attendants were so obsessed with preserving dignity that they ignored the basic realities of illness. What angered Ma Mao most was not their cruelty, but their ignorance. As days passed, her concern deepened into genuine alarm. After analyzing the symptoms, she became convinced that traces of white powder poison still remained inside Liwa's body. The damage had never fully stopped. Her weakness, pale complexion, exhaustion, and deteriorating condition all pointed toward a body still slowly collapsing from within. And if the poison alone did not kill her, despair eventually would. Lehua had lost her child. That wound lingered beneath every exhausted breath she took. Ma Mao could see it clearly even from a distance. There was no will in her eyes anymore, only a numb emptiness that made survival feel almost meaningless. One afternoon, after being blocked from entering once again, Ma Mao stood silently in the corridor and calculated how many days remained before everything collapsed completely. If Lehua died despite the Emperor's direct—
The way things are going, I won't be able to get anywhere near her. I've got to plan out my next step. If I could at least do an examination.
What on earth for? So you can make things worse than you already have?
At this rate, she's bound to wither and die. That happens when people don't eat. After the loss of her child, she's probably lost the will to live. I wonder how many days I have left before my head bids farewell to my neck for defying the Emperor's order.
Seems you're in a bit of a bind.
Is that the way you see it?
Well, it certainly appears so.
Master Jinshi! Can the girl not take a hint?
Why is she with Master Jinshi?
A dumb misunderstanding.
If it helps, I can come inside.
Master Jinshi!
What beautiful and talented ladies in waiting. Don't you think you should respect the Emperor's wishes?
We weren't ignoring them, were we? It's not.
More like we were a guest.
Scary how women can change so quickly.
Well, go ahead.
She has the will to eat.
order, responsibility would not simply disappear. Failure carried consequences in the rear palace. Severe ones. She imagined the possibility with disturbing calmness: execution. While she stood lost in thought, someone approached from behind. Jinshi noticed her expression immediately. Few people in the palace paid attention as carefully as he did. He casually asked whether something was wrong, though his eyes already suggested he understood more than he let on. The conversation itself was ordinary, familiar, comfortable even. Unfortunately, the surrounding attendants noticed it too. The women already disliked Ma Mao, but seeing Jinshi speak to her with such ease only worsened their resentment. Jealousy spread visibly across their faces. Jinshi, as beautiful and untouchable as a celestial being, had an effect on people that bordered on supernatural. And he knew exactly how to use it. Without raising his voice or invoking authority, Jinshi simply smiled. That was enough. The attendants who moments earlier had been acting arrogant suddenly lost composure. Faces reddened, eyes widened, their hostility melted beneath the overwhelming force of his charm. Jinshi moved through them effortlessly, speaking softly while redirecting attention away from Ma Mao. It was manipulation executed with terrifying elegance. Ma Mao watched the entire performance with quiet disbelief. People like Jinshi, she thought once again, were frightening in ways poison never could be. Thanks to his interference, she finally gained entry into Liwa's room. The sight waiting inside made her chest tighten. The consort lying in bed barely resembled the woman the palace once admired. Her skin looked translucent beneath the dim light, her breathing shallow and uneven. Even lifting her head appeared difficult. Yet when Ma Mao carefully fed her a spoonful of porridge, Lehua swallowed. Only a small amount, but it was enough. That single action proved something important. Somewhere beneath the exhaustion and grief, a small instinct to survive still remained. As Ma Mao cleaned the corner of the consort's mouth,
She's weaker than I initially thought. Maybe rice water's better. Please forgive me. The same shade as before. concubine's makeup. Are you the one in charge of it?
Yes, I am. We want Lady Li Hua to always remain beautiful.
The fool. Doesn't she know that's our job?
It is all for her sake.
Yes, obviously.
I see.
What is wrong with you?
Me? Just punishing an idiot, clearly.
Ouch! You're hurting me! Stop it!
The poison will infect your whole body after a while. On the bright side, you'll leave a beautiful corpse, just like your beloved Lady Li Hua. Bloodless skin, white as bone, eyes sunken in their sockets, a body that's unable to even consume food. This was banned for a reason. Or are you too dumb to see that?
I thought it would make Lady Li Hua happy.
Like I said, it's poison. You think you know everything, but there are no thoughts in that head of yours. You think she wants to be adorned in the poison that killed her son? Go rinse your mouth out and wash your face.
However, she suddenly froze. There it was, a faint dusting of white powder. Her expression darkened instantly. She turned toward the attendants and demanded to know who had been applying cosmetics to Lahua. One woman stepped forward confidently, almost offended by the accusation. She explained that preserving the consort's beauty was part of her duty. Even bedridden, Lahua deserved to appear elegant. A high-ranking consort could not be seen in a pitiful state. The answer triggered something cold inside Ma Mao. Before anyone could react, she slapped the attendant across the face. The sharp crack echoed violently through the chamber. Silence swallowed the room. Ma Mao rarely displayed open anger, which made the fury in her eyes far more terrifying. She grabbed the stunned attendant by the arm and dragged her toward the storage room. Drawers were thrown open one after another until Ma Mao located the container she sought. The white powder. Without hesitation, she opened the box and dumped its contents over the attendant's head. The girl gasped in horror as powder coated her hair, shoulders, and face. Then Ma Mao explained exactly what the substance would do. Calmly, precisely, cruelly, she described how the poison would seep gradually into the body, weakening organs little by little. Eyes would sink, strength would disappear, skin would deteriorate, beauty itself would become twisted into something hollow and grotesque. The attendant trembled as Ma Mao painted the image of a living corpse consumed slowly from within. Her words sliced deeper than screams ever could. Ma Mao demanded to know how anyone could continue using the very substance responsible for destroying a mother and killing her child. Was preserving appearances truly more important than keeping Lahua alive? The attendant broke completely under the weight of those questions. Only then did Ma Mao order her to wash herself immediately and begin cleaning the room properly. Nearby, Jin Shi observed the entire scene with a complicated expression. Watching Ma Mao terrify an entire room without raising her voice reminded him once again that beneath her plain appearance existed an incredibly
Hey, I don't need any of this poison getting near the patient. Now clean up the floor at once.
Scary how quickly women can change.
What got into me? I've done it now.
Let's go.
When I finally got close, I found her health was worse than I thought. I started by changing from porridge to rice water. I forced the food into her mouth and had her swallow slowly, over and over. There's no sense worrying about etiquette at a time like this. I aired out the room, which thinned out the incense, revealing the smell of sick. Those incompetent fools can't even wash their mistress properly. What poor excuses for ladies in waiting. There's so much they could have been doing besides worrying about incense. Hey, bring hot water and cloth.
Sure.
Right. You three, get to work.
Yes.
drink tea often, which causes frequent urination and flushes poison out of the body.
Are you sure Lady Lihua isn't in pain?
No, but she must drink. She slowly began to eat more, so I increased the amount of rice grains in the water. When she was able to swallow them, I added soup and ground fruit to the mixture. The lady-in-waiting who was applying the makeup was put into confinement. From what I understand, she'd hid the powder for Lady Lihua. The eunuch who was supposed to recover the powder was punished by flagellation.
Formidable woman. From that point onward, Ma Mao seized full control over Lihua's treatment. The process was exhausting from the very beginning. Even swallowing watered-down porridge exhausted the consort. Some days Lihua lacked the energy to eat more than a few bites. Other days she turned away entirely, trapped beneath grief so deep it hollowed out her appetite. Ma Mao adapted constantly, changing ingredients, adjusting consistency, introducing herbal teas meant to promote detoxification and urination. She also discovered how astonishingly incompetent many attendants truly were. Basic hygiene had been neglected. Bedding was not cleaned often enough. Ventilation inside the room was poor. Some servants hesitated to move Lihua at all, treating her more like a delicate ornament than a living patient. Ma Mao ended up barking orders relentlessly, forcing them to assist with cleaning, washing, and maintaining proper conditions. Rank no longer mattered to her. Survival did. Days blurred into weeks. Little by little, progress appeared. The herbal treatments began helping the poison leave Lihua's body. The porridge gradually thickened as her digestive system improved. Ma Mao introduced soups next, then mashed fruits rich in nutrients. Every improvement was carefully measured. Too much too quickly could reverse everything. Meanwhile, investigations within the palace uncovered more disturbing truths. The attendant responsible for applying the makeup had secretly hidden leftover white powder instead of discarding it after earlier warnings about its dangers. Her negligence had prolonged the poisoning considerably. Even the eunuch assigned to inspections received punishment for failing to notice what was happening inside the crystal pavilion. Consequences spread quietly through the palace like ripples through still water. Yet while others focused on blame, Ma Mao focused only on keeping Lihua alive. The work consumed her completely. She slept little, often remaining awake deep into the night monitoring fevers or preparing medicinal mixtures. Exhaustion settled heavily into her body, though she ignored it as long as Lihua continued improving.
You're looking tired.
Thanks. Unlike someone, I have been busy.
We brought gifts.
So very thoughtful of you, sir. Whoa! He knows the way to a girl's heart. It's the considerate guys like him who become good husbands. Too bad he's a eunuch. And then there's this guy.
Need help? With anything else, I mean. Name it. Anything at all. Bring those materials over there and lend them a hand. We must hurry for Lady Lihua's sake. Yes! A steam bath? Apparently, sweating is good for her. You think it will help? I suppose so.
We have to use whatever we have in this life. What do you need, lady?
You saved me. I'm confused. You shouldn't have bothered and just allowed me to die.
Yes, I helped, but you could have easily refused to eat. The fact you ate the porridge tells me you want to keep living.
Recognizing this, Gaoshan occasionally brought her simple meals to ensure she did not collapse from overwork herself. Jin Shi also assisted in his own peculiar ways. When Mao Mao requested construction of a steam bath facility to aid circulation and recovery, he actually arranged for it despite the unusual nature of the request. The rear palace buzzed with confusion at the sight of workers assembling such a thing. Mao Mao did not care. She had seen similar methods help recovery before, and she trusted practical results more than tradition. During this period, Lehua slowly began speaking more often. One evening, while sitting weakly beside the window, she asked Mao Mao a question so quiet it almost disappeared beneath the sound of wind outside. Why save her at all? Why not simply let her die? There was no melodrama in her voice. No tears. Just exhausted resignation from someone who no longer saw value in continuing. Mao Mao answered without hesitation. If Lehua truly wanted death, she would have refused the food. That simple response lingered heavily in the silence afterward. Because it was true. No matter how broken she felt, some hidden part of Lehua still reached toward survival each time she swallowed another spoonful. Even grief could not erase instinct completely. Memories of her lost child surfaced often after that conversation. Mao Mao noticed the subtle shifts in expression whenever Lehua stared into empty space. The pain remained enormous, but now it existed beside something else. A fragile desire to keep living. The steam baths accelerated recovery further. Warmth returned gradually to Lihua's body. Color slowly reappeared in her cheeks. The hollow weakness in her limbs lessened week by week. Servants who once expected death now watched in amazement as the consort began standing again with assistance. Even the disgraced attendant changed. Humbled by her mistakes and horrified by the damage she had caused, she returned determined to atone. She volunteered for difficult tasks without complaint and assisted Mao Mao diligently, desperate to prove she would never repeat such ignorance again.
You're right.
You're back.
I've been released. Since my confinement is over, I am permitted to serve Lady Lihua once again. It was a terrible mistake and one I'll never repeat. I swear. I will take your place now. I insist you get some rest.
All right.
I'm here. Lady Lihua.
If you could, please fetch me some water.
Yes. Yes.
About 2 months later, Lady Lihua recovered enough to be able to walk the gardens by herself. She has self-respect, but isn't arrogant.
2 months passed. By then, the transformation was undeniable. Lehua could walk through portions of the pavilion once more. Her posture regained elegance. Though still thinner than before, she no longer resembled a dying woman trapped between life and death. The vitality returning to her eyes changed everything. The crystal pavilion itself seemed brighter simply because its mistress had begun living again. As Mao Mao spent more time around her, she also realized how misunderstood Lehua truly was. Many perceived her as proud or arrogant because of her cold demeanor and noble beauty. But beneath that exterior existed immense dignity rather than vanity. She carried herself with restraint even while suffering. Her pride was not cruelty, it was strength. That realization earned Mao Mao's respect. Ironically, the moment Lehua stabilized enough to no longer require constant supervision was the moment Mao Mao's own body finally gave out. After weeks of relentless labor and sleepless nights, exhaustion claimed her without warning. She fell asleep completely, collapsing into deep unconsciousness like someone whose body had finally realized survival no longer required constant vigilance. And during that vulnerable moment, it was Lehua who watched over her. The once dying consort sat beside Mao Mao quietly, caring for her with gentle attention that resembled a mother tending to a child. The reversal carried a strange warmth neither woman acknowledged aloud. Eventually, preparations for Mao Mao's departure began. True to her nature, she organized everything meticulously before leaving. Instructions for meals, medicine, hygiene, exercise, and continued recovery were written in careful detail for the attendants. Nothing was left uncertain. Before she departed, however, Lehua asked one final question lingering heavily in her heart. Would she ever be able to bear another child? For once, Mao Mao could not offer certainty. The damage caused by poison and illness was difficult to predict completely. Some wounds healed, others lingered invisibly. She admitted honestly that only time could answer such a question. But deeper fears remained beneath Lihua's words.
After that matter with the prince, I had imagined her as some kind of selfish princess. It turns out she has a personality befitting a concubine. I'll be leaving the Crystal Pavilion tomorrow morning.
Fine.
I've already spoken to your ladies-in-waiting about your food and other things that need to be taken care of.
Good. So then, am I unable to bear children?
I don't know. If you want more, perhaps you should try.
His Majesty's love for me has all but vanished.
If that's true, why did he order me to take care of you? Once I return to the Jade Pavilion, perhaps then the Emperor will be inclined to pay you a visit.
I chose to ignore the advice you gave. As a result, I allowed my child to die. Concubine Gyokyo has won.
It's not a matter of winning and losing. There are hundreds, if not thousands of flowers in the world. Comparing a peony to a bellflower is pointless. Who has the right to judge which is more beautiful?
But even so, I possess neither her jade eyes nor her bright hair.
You have other assets, I've noticed. Putting aside their magnificent size, truly, what shape and tension. My lady, would you mind lending me your ear?
Would the Emperor still favor her after everything? Had illness and tragedy pushed her permanently out of his heart? In the rear palace, affection from the Emperor determined not only status but survival itself. Mao Mao reassured her as best she could. The Emperor had personally sent help. That alone proved he had not abandoned her. And perhaps once Mao Mao departed, his visits would return as well. Then came another comparison. Lehua wondered quietly whether she could ever surpass Gyokuyu. Mao Mao dismissed the idea almost immediately. People were not things measured against one another so simply. Beauty existed in countless forms, like flowers blooming differently depending on season and soil. Comparing them as though only one deserved admiration was meaningless. Lehua still seemed unconvinced, pointing out qualities she believed she lacked compared to the other consort. Mao Mao glanced at her thoughtfully before making a dry observation that what Lehua lacked in one area, she more than compensated for somewhere else entirely. Then she leaned closer and whispered something into the consort's ear. The effect was immediate. Liwa's face flushed crimson with such intensity that even the attendants nearby stared in shock. Ma Mao, meanwhile, stepped back with complete calmness as though she had said nothing unusual at all. Whatever advice she shared came from knowledge acquired during her years around the pleasure district, practical wisdom she personally had little use for, yet apparently considered valuable enough to pass along. Soon afterward, Ma Mao finally left the Crystal Pavilion behind. The corridors felt strangely lighter as she walked away, though fatigue still clung heavily to her bones. Behind her remained not only detailed instructions for recovery, but also a woman who had returned from the edge of death and rediscovered the will to live. And in the days that followed, rumors quietly spread through the palace. The emperor's visits to Gyokuyu's residence had become less frequent lately. Meanwhile, within the Crystal Pavilion, a certain consort once thought destined for the grave had begun blooming beautifully once again, like a flower surviving winter and opening beneath the warmth of a long-awaited spring.
With that, I should be off. I left Lady Lihua with one final gift, a secret technique taught to me by my big sisters at the brothel.
You and someone special will be glad we taught you this.
I don't have the fruits nearly large enough to pull off the technique myself. Lady Lihua, on the other hand, will do just fine. I hope it's useful. I've returned, my lady.
Welcome back. Hannah, are you all right? You were just skin and bone.
Oh, it must have been so hard on you.
She completed the Emperor's mission on her own. Quite impressive.
Afterwards, there was a period where the Emperor's visits to the Jade Pavilion decreased quite significantly.
Finally, much-deserved respite from all those sleepless nights.
Mao Mao couldn't keep a straight face, but that's another story.
It's a curse.
Next time, covert operations.
Alright, everyone, that is for today's reaction on Anime Sensei reaction. Thank you for so much for watching and spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification so you won't miss any you won't miss the next reaction. Let me know your true favorite moment and break it down in the comment because I always love reading what you guys think. We still have a lot of amazing anime moments, crazy battle, emotional scene, and unexpected trip coming soon on the channel. I truly appreciate all the support, and I can't wait to watch more anime together with you all. Take care everyone, and I will see you in the next reaction video.